Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I constitute this a congregation of Rhodes University. You may be seated.
Chancellor, the Honorable Justice Lexham Party, Chairperson of the Rhodes University Council, Mr. Vuyo Kahla, and other members of Council, Chairperson of the Rhodes University Convocation, Professor Emeritus Peter Mtuza, our Honorary Graduate, Professor Ian Scott, University Public Auditor, Distinguished Professor Paul Malam, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Deans, Registrar, Heads of Academic Departments and Directors of Administrative Divisions, Academic and Support Staff colleagues, President and other members of the Student Representative Council, proud parents, guardians, siblings, friends of our graduates, honored guests, and more important, our graduates. This is a day of joy. This is a day of celebration. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the first of 6 graduation ceremonies of 2019 at Rhodes University. Graduation ceremonies are an important highlight in our university calendar. They afford us a special opportunity to recognize, honor, and celebrate the academic success and achievements of our students. Graduation is a significant milestone which marks one of the most memorable experiences in the life of our graduates of any age. It marks the end and a new beginning. It is a culmination of many years of hard work and personal sacrifice, a celebration of a great personal accomplishment, a moment of joy and pride for parents and other family members, a time to reflect on the road traveled and to look forward to a future rich with promise. On behalf of our Chancellor, our Council, and the entire Rhodes University community, I offer our warmest and proud congratulations to each one of you, our graduates, on your wonderful achievements. Completing a Rhodes University qualification is a particularly demanding undertaking. You and your family can justifiably be proud of your remarkable personal accomplishment. We are immensely proud of you. Let me extend our heartfelt congratulations to those graduates who are the first in their family to earn a university degree. Having been one myself, I know too well just what a proud and special moment this is for you. You have achieved what no one in your family has achieved. This day will remain deeply etched on your memory and will remain a source of inspiration for you for the rest of your life. Heartiest congratulations. Each one of you, our graduates, has your own unique story to tell about your journey to this glorious achievement we are celebrating this morning. For some of you, the path to this day has been a long and a rocky one, requiring persistence, perseverance, and hard work. Others have had to confront and negotiate struggles of financial hardships that left them uncertain at the beginning of each year as to whether or not they would be able to continue with their studies. You have pulled through. Well done, and warm congratulations. I hope that the public celebration of your achievements has consigned to a distant and ever-fading memory all the difficulties you encountered along the way. Over the years that you have been at Rhodes University, you have been sustained by the unfaltering support, loving sacrifices, and constant encouragement of your parents, guardians, siblings, friends, and loved ones. They have been there to provide advice and to cheer you up and cheer you on at times when you might have lost all hope. This day belongs as much to you as it does to them too. Please never turn your back on them. We can only imagine the deep sense of happiness and fulfillment that they must be feeling, knowing that their many financial and other contributions have successfully supported the completion of your degree. The success and achievements we celebrate this morning also attest to the dedicated and committed support of our academic staff, our tutors, laboratory technicians, computer assistants, support, and administrative staff. We also acknowledge with great gratitude the important role played by our cleaners, cooks, gardeners, janitorial staff, watering staff, and student leaders in creating a rich and supportive intellectual, social, and physical environment for our students to develop, grow, and succeed in their academic endeavors. In our 2019 graduation ceremonies, we will also confer 5 honorary degrees on highly eminent individuals in recognition and celebration of their extraordinary lifetime achievements and contributions in the field of knowledge or scholarship, in public service, or in artistic creation. Their personal journeys and selfless service and sacrifices serve as an inspiration and an example worthy of emulation by all of us. These distinguished women and men are Professor Ian Scott, Professor Glenda Gray, Professor Emeritus George Ellis, Professor Pumla Goboto Matigizela, and Chief Oenike Ogundai. In the 6 graduation ceremonies of 2019, a total of 2,321 students will receive their degrees and diplomas. Of these, 1,261, or 54%, are undergraduate bachelor's degrees, and 1,060, or 46%, are postgraduate degrees and diplomas. Of the 1,060 postgraduate students, 230 will be receiving their master's degrees. Of the 2,321 graduates, 61% are women. Malbongwe. Malbongwe. Maibongwe Mbogod. And 19% are international students. This year we have produced 89 PhD graduates. The Faculty of Science has produced 38, the Faculty of Humanities 30, Faculty of Commerce 3, the Faculty of Education 16, and the Faculty of Pharmacy 2. Our warm congratulations to all our faculty deans, heads of academic departments, and the academic and support staff of our academic divisions. Let me for a moment address myself to our graduates. You have received the best education from one of the finest universities. With your Rhodes University qualification, you can embrace the future with confidence, courage, and conviction. Not only do you carry light with you, you are the light of the world. May your light shine before others and dispel the darkness of ignorance, prejudice, greed, selfishness, cynicism, hatred, hopelessness, and despair. May you brighten the corner wherever you find yourself. And as Germany can suggest, let your light shine as an inspiration to humanity and be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. Now that you have a qualification from this great university, you are able to make life choices and define what success, happiness, and fulfillment mean for you. Whatever choices you make in life, never elevate personal ambition or single-minded pursuit of material or financial gain above all else. One thing you can learn from the many commissions we have, the Nugent Commission, the PIC Commission chaired by our Chancellor, the Zondo Commission, the Mohoro Commission, if there's one thing you should learn, is that there is no honor in the abuse of public trust for private or personal gain. Never allow the lure of instant gratification or convenience to cloud your good judgment. Whatever the future holds for you, always strive to be the best that you can possibly be. Always strive to live a life of virtue, a life of consequence. However you choose to define success, fulfillment, or happiness, never forget who you are or where you come from. Never forget those who have supported you, those who have stood by you through all your ups and downs. And however you choose to define success, fulfillment, or happiness, never fail to treat others with respect, kindness, and decency. In all that you do, may you be guided by the values of social justice, empathy, integrity, honesty, compassion, and human solidarity, always endeavoring to brighten the corner where you are. You have so much to offer the world. Never for a moment doubt your capacity to make a positive change in our society. Never allow the fear of failure to drive you into the safety and placidity of inaction. When I became the Vice Chancellor of this fine institution, I made a public commitment that we would make quality and transformative education accessible and affordable to academically capable young people of our country, regardless of their financial circumstances. Indeed, we must do all in our power to attract the best and the brightest from every section of our society and provide them with an opportunity to realize their hopes, dreams, and aspirations. In this regard, I humbly request you to help us honor this commitment by contributing generously to our annual fundraising campaign and other initiatives that are aimed at making the learning experiences we value so greatly at Rhodes University more available for all. As a graduate of this great university, you join a special community of our alumni, extraordinary women and men who are making remarkable contributions and leading change in many and diverse fields of human endeavor. We will expect no less from you. We welcome you to this special and ever-growing community with whom you share a deep affection for this great institution. We invite you to visit the alumni table in the foyer to receive your special graduation gift as a memento of this momentous occasion. Today is your special day to cherish and remember. May you cherish your university experience and the privilege of an excellent education you have received at this great university. May you cherish and treasure the bonds of friendship formed at Rhodes University and rooted in the shared experiences and memories, and may these sustain you and last you your lifetime. We wish you much success, happiness, and fulfillment in the years ahead. We know that you will play your part in making this world a better place for all of us and for generations to come as you brighten the corner where you are. For two of our highly esteemed colleagues, the 2019 graduation ceremonies are their last ones in which they will participate in their official capacities. Our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Chris Sibawi, and our Public Auditor, distinguished Professor Paul Malem. They will relinquish their roles in the course of the year 2019. Both of them have served our university loyally and with great honor and dedication and with great distinction for many years. On behalf of our Chancellor, our Council, and the entire Rhodes University community, we wish to convey To both of them, our heartfelt appreciation and deep gratitude for all that they have done for our university. Our university is much the better for the immense contribution you have made over many years. We wish you well in the next phase of your ever unfolding future. On this special occasion, let us pause and remember those students who were our graduates, classmates, and friends, and they passed away during the course of their studies. They too would have been graduating from Rhodes University this morning. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are part of us as we remember them. To all our graduates, Mazal Tov. Asante sana, enkosi, ngiyalibuka, ngiyabonga. Ngiyalibowa inkomo, shukran, merci beaucoup, baya danke. Thank you very much.
For the past 30 to 40 years, the university sector in South Africa has had to address the challenge of transformation, a challenge that has had a number of different dimensions, one of the most important being curriculum reform. At the forefront of this particular reform endeavour has been Professor Ian Scott. Based at the University of Cape Town, he has made a significant contribution to higher education transformation and policy making for the past 35 years. He might well not have moved into this field had it not been for a life-changing moment in his youth. At school, Selborne College in East London, he performed well at maths and science, and at the end of his matric year, accepted an offer to study electrical engineering at UCT. But then, he recalls, some inner rebellion came to the surface, and he made a sudden decision to study for a BA in English and Classics, a decision never regretted. Although a sudden decision, the seeds of it had been sown long before. Growing up in East London in a family of modest means, but in a home full of books, books that set the tone for the home, generating discussion and ideas. After graduating at UCT came another life-changing experience. A 5-year stint teaching at a coloured school in Cape Town, there gaining a clear sense of what life was like in marginalised communities, understanding the awful effects of apartheid discrimination and the resulting waste of talent. Coming to see more clearly the importance of education in human and economic development, and also coming to think more closely about how the educational system could be made more equitable. This particular teaching experience, he says, fundamentally influenced all his subsequent work choices and goals. On being appointed as director of the Academic Development Programme at UCT in 1984, Ian Scott was able to use his school teaching experience to better understand the difficulties encountered by university students coming from disadvantaged backgrounds. The 3.5 decades during which he has worked in this programme have been significant years of transition and transformation in the higher education sector, with far-reaching political change affecting the demographics, governance, culture, and academic life of South African universities in fundamental ways. Professor Scott at once saw that the historically white universities were ill-equipped to manage such change. Their staff often wedded to long-standing outlooks, academic traditions, and teaching practices that did not take into account the huge diversity of educational backgrounds from which students came. So Professor Scott became involved in a number of different research fields, all related to the broad area of university transformation. First, exploring the interface between secondary and tertiary education as a key factor affecting access to and success in higher education. An exploration that required, in turn, quantitative research into the performance patterns of students at a national level. Research undertaken between 2005 and 2008, involving the collection and analysis of data that was not easily accessed. The findings of the research providing an important basis for developing new educational strategies for improving both student performance and the overall effectiveness of the higher education sector. These findings led Professor Scott to the view that there had to be fundamental structural change in the curriculum in the form of a flexible pathway to a degree. Believing this to be a more successful way of tackling the difficulties faced by underprepared students, more successful than the existing practice of offering extra remedial classes to such students. So our honorary graduand has been a major pioneer in curriculum reform in South Africa, redesigning the educational process to accommodate a wide range of students from diverse backgrounds. His overall aim to provide those students from disadvantaged backgrounds with a realistic chance to succeed in their university studies without compromising academic standards. Best achieved through the development of a flexible undergraduate curriculum that creates equity of opportunity and outcomes. This an ongoing endeavour. Since 2015, Professor Scott has been leading the development of a new policy for the Department of Higher Education centred on extended curriculum programmes. Over the years, his expertise has been in high demand. In 2003, a founder member of the International Association for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning. From 2004 to 2008, member of a team developing a coherent higher education system for Mozambique. Active in many other task teams, including one that conducted an external review of Rhodes' own Academic Development Centre in 1998. Sitting on the editorial boards of a number of international journals. While there are numerous articles, book chapters and conference papers to his name, Professor Scott's main concern has been to influence policy rather than to embellish his CV. Hence much of his written work appearing in the form of reports, commissioned papers and policy proposals. Underlying Professor Scott's work have been some overarching concerns. A fundamental interest in education as a means of pursuing social justice and human development. The need to have a clear understanding of structural conditions, legacies from the past, and different cultural contexts so as to properly address educational issues. These concerns have, in turn, led him to reflect upon the student protests of the past 4 years, seeing the need to fathom what lies beneath student anger, understanding the frustration experienced by black students in particular, and stressing the importance of giving due respect to the intellectual potential and educational aspirations that exist in all communities. Today, Rhodes honours one of South Africa's foremost educationalists, who has undertaken groundbreaking work on curriculum reform, whose thinking has had a profound influence on South Africa's educational policy, who has committed himself over many decades to the development of a more just, equitable higher education system in our country. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer on Ian Scott the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
Good morning, everybody. Chancellor, Justice Lex Mpati, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sizwe Mabizela, an old colleague, Chairperson and members of the Rhodes University Council, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Dr. Chrissy Bowie, also a friend and colleague over 3 decades, and Dr. Peter Clayton. The public orator, distinguished Professor Paul Malem, about whom more later, deans, academic and support staff, students, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and very especially the new graduates and their families and guardians. I'm very glad I have something written in front of me here, because this situation and Professor Malem's amazing citation are truly overwhelming. I'm truly honored to be here, and I would like to take this opportunity to extend deepest gratitude for this wonderful award to Rhodes University, the Council, and in very particular to my nominator, Professor Bowie, the orator, Professor Malem, Communications Division, and the organizers behind the scenes who have made all this possible, made the arrangements for myself and my wife, Pam Lloyd, and do it so considerately. And I know, too, to the individual academics who will have put a great deal of care and time into the honorary degree process. Thank you. Enkosi kakhulu. I only have one complaint. I have found absolutely no space on this campus to park the rather large water tanker that I was asked to drive up here from Cape Town. There are 2 lots of things I would like to say today, and this is a very special opportunity. It is about the field that I am in and what Professor Malem has referred to as our big issue. And the other is very directly to the graduates behind me. I wasn't expecting the graduates to be behind me. And I have to say that it feels extremely vulnerable to be standing up here between you and the award of your degrees, especially when I cannot see what may be being thrown at me from the background. But I would particularly like, if you'll indulge me, there are a lot of people there behind me, to make some brief remarks about what this award means to me, and I believe to my colleagues in my own field. Well, to me, of course, this award is a major highlight of my working life, probably the highlight, and actually and truly the greatest honor I could have imagined. It has special significance for me because of the nature of my field of work. And you'll have known by now what we call it is academic development, a strange term, or higher education development, as it's now often known, which I'll abbreviate as AD for academic development. As Professor Malum has indicated, the fundamental goal of our AD work is a simple one, is to find ways in which our sector and all of our universities, no matter what kind, can enable talented students to succeed, irrespective of their circumstances and educational background. It's essential for fairness to do that, of course, and etc. So you can see clearly, I think, that AD is concerned with two things, interrelated, that are very important in South Africa, if not the world. And they are the fundamental issue of social justice and what that means to individuals and the realization of their life's aspiration. It is also, though, quite hard-nosed in that it is about enabling higher education to meet its obligations to in turn meet our society's real needs for advanced knowledge and skills. And that in turn is crucial to all forms of development, especially economic development. However, AD as a field of research and development, as opposed to, for example, what people often associated with a bit of extra teaching or whatever, which is very important, but still, as a proper field of research and development, it's relatively new and often not well understood, and I'm afraid to say even disparaged in many parts of the academic community. Moreover, academic development works best when it's undertaken in partnerships with academic bodies, departments, individuals, etc., or even national level bodies. It is a partnership. So it has a backroom role. Consequence of this is that the knowledge and expertise of AD specialists, some of the best of whom you have among you in this university, they're often not readily visible or given adequate recognition. Chancellor, this is, in my view, a very regrettable situation in higher education in many parts of the world, and not least in South Africa. But I need to say up front that present company is in many respects accepted in this, because Rhodes has had a fantastic history of both of dealing with the educational mission as well as the research knowledge generation mission. And I take my hat off to that. Why is this so regrettable? There are two reasons mainly. Firstly, it's a manifestation of the subordinate role that has been given to the educational mission at so many universities and systems in relation to the research mission. Can the production of knowledge, the research mission, be more important, especially in this day and age of widespread importance of knowledge? Can it be more important than the sharing of knowledge? I would have to say, with due regard to both our Deputy Vice-Chancellors, that that is a futile debate about which is more important. They are both equally important, and neither is worth much without the other in this world. So I think also that all of the graduates behind me here and their future contributions to the world say very clearly that it is not the case that one mission is more important than the other. Easy to say, difficult to put into practice in institutions. The second reason why this is so regrettable is that neglecting the educational mission and the people who are working in it, and that's not just the specialists, it's academics of all kinds who wish to really do well in this area of work. It means that key intellectual questions are neglected. And the two that I want to mention are, in the first place, how does our species, the human race, learn? We don't understand much about it, really. And the second is, how can that learning be made available across the divides of race, gender, socioeconomic status, etc.? I ask you all, are there very many important questions in South Africa? Can there be questions that are more important than those? And I'm afraid that since AD is central to that inquiry, by no means the only part of it, it does not deserve not to be taken seriously. Chancellor, the special significance I attach to this award comes from this situation. It's really a twofold one. Firstly, personally, it is a wonderful and uplifting boost to my personal confidence and sense of fulfillment. Secondly, and more importantly, it recognizes AD, my field, as a valid area of research and development in its own right. And that has been very rare. If I'm not mistaken about this, the award is a powerful encouragement for all who are already in AD and for others who may be attracted into our field. And as befits a university with such a strong higher education unit as Churchill here, in deciding to make this award for me, Rhodes will have helped greatly to extend the recognition of AD and what it stands for across the country. So I thank you greatly, more than you can realize, for that. I now need to pay attention to the rest of the group behind me, the full attention to the graduates here who are really the heart of this celebration. A quick confession first. My early visits to Rhodes had nothing to do with normal studying. My visits began when I was an undergraduate at UCT, a bit younger than most of you are, and when the world, especially South Africa, was a very different place. My reason for coming here was that what Rhodes was then most famous for, at least among us students, was partying. I came here in 1966, believe it or not, to investigate if this fame was justified. And I was not disappointed. So I came again, and again, and again, to continue my research into this key matter. Exactly, and I think the social science among us could call it participant observation. Regrettably, I later had few opportunities to continue the research in the true spirit of it, until now. I thought that I really must wrap this up now at the end of my career. So I made inquiries afresh about student life here and now in this new millennial world. I was hugely impressed to be told that you don't do partying anymore. I hope I'm not being misinformed. I hear that Rhodes students at all levels take their studying and social obligations so seriously that they cannot allow for these frivolous pursuits. I'm sad about the project, but extremely glad to know that the world is passing into such responsible hands. So, congratulations to you all. I also know from my more recent research that Prof. Malem referred to, just how important you and your future contributions to society are. Just consider this. It is sad but true that only 1 in 7 of our youth, on an optimistic estimate, ever get into a university in South Africa. 1 in 7. And a much smaller proportion than that get into a university as successful as this one in the 2 main missions. Even more sadly, only about half across the country of all entrants ever graduate, even over a period of 10 years. So you here today represent, and you fall easily into, at worst, the top 5% in achieved performance. You are the top achievers in our country in your age group. I would say it's higher than 5%, but let's be careful. This creates a need, and above all, an opportunity for you to make special contribution to our world with your knowledge, expertise, and, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, integrity. So a question I hope you will ask yourselves, especially at key stages in your life like this one, is the following. Given my own particular talents and circumstances, what can I do to make a difference? It's a very old question, but it is one that should never go out of fashion. So what can I possibly say that may be of use to you graduates in what you choose to do? Well, since the central purpose of my field is to make a difference, whether or not we achieve it, the best I can do is to pick out some lessons that I've learned in the course of my work, and I think apply to all kinds of efforts to improve a piece of the world. If I may, I would like to offer 3 very brief lessons to you in this way, to make of what you will. The first one is called, things are often not as they seem to be. Things are often not as they seem. Improving things almost always involves a persistent problem, resolving a persistent problem, whether it's something in our daily work or something on a huge scale like the effect of poverty on human development. The trouble is that persistent problems of whatever size are usually very difficult to pin down. That's why they persist. And if a problem is not clearly identified and defined, efforts to resolve it will be misdirected and will not succeed. Time is worrying me, but I'd like to say there's just a very quick story I need to tell you to illustrate. I'll be as quick as I can. A while ago, a very powerful philanthropist was visiting a small Latin American country when he was shocked to discover that a high proportion of the primary school children there could not read. It became evident very clearly that the children were unhealthy, listless, and not engaged in their learning. They undertook a major investigation into the health issue, and it revealed an unpleasant truth that almost all of the children had worms. I'm sorry, but intestinal worms. And this condition sapped their energy, concentration, and ability to learn. The philanthropist was convinced that this was the cause of the baffling reading problem. And, being who he was, he organized a massive, comprehensive deworming project right across the country. The children's health improved dramatically, and this success inspired similar efforts in other countries. But I need water first. It turned out the children were still not learning to read. The terrible disappointment forced a return to the drawing board, and almost by chance, the focus shifted to the reading materials that all the children had to use. While these little books had years before been considered to be a perfectly adequate benchmark, and by then were never questioned, they were part of the reality. They turned out to be seriously inappropriate for the age groups concerned, and actually, ironically, to be a barrier to reading development, quite the opposite to the purpose they were assumed to be serving. So the key cause of the problem had been hiding in plain sight. This does not mean, of course, that deworming efforts are not valuable in themselves, but rather that the fundamental solution to the reading problem lay in providing a proper, sound educational experience with decent materials for the kids. If this had been uncovered earlier, rather than going for an obvious solution, the children might have been healthier and able to read. And I think what this case shows is that aspects of a situation may be so embedded in standard practice, so taken for granted, that they are virtually invisible. So they are not recognized as what they should be. That is a critical variable in affecting the problem. They're not fixed. The lesson I have learned then, and this really encapsulates it for me, is always to challenge what is taken for granted, to be highly skeptical, as academics should be, of obvious or common sense responses, to dig underneath apparent solutions, and to keep digging until the true roots are exposed. I don't know if any of you still writes a message to yourselves on your bathroom mirror. In my day, it used to be done a lot, ideally in lipstick. But the message I would suggest to you if you do that, or on your home page, beware of false certainties. False certainties have bedeviled the human race for a frightfully long time. Beware of false certainty. My host will be pleased to hear the next two lessons are much more quickly dealt with. The next one is distinguishing between means and ends. It's a similar lesson for those who are wanting to make a difference. Not to confuse those things, means and ends. So that means it's essential to be crystal clear about the ultimate goal you are aiming to achieve, and about understanding the difference between this goal and the sub-goals that must be met in order to achieve the ultimate. Quick example from my own field. At times in the evolution of AD, there were fierce debates about what form AD work should take. Learning support like tutorials, psychological support, financial support, residence, professional development for staff, all of those. We fought. The arguments were ideological and bitter, and they drove people into silos, they undermined cooperation, and they turned out to be both counterproductive and futile because they missed a simple key point. That is that the end goal of all education is, of course, high-quality student learning. That is the goal. And all the activities that we had clashed about were subsidiary to that. They were means for achieving that end. None of them in itself would achieve the end goal. That is dependent on a holistic process. This is not to say that individual means don't matter. They are necessary conditions for success. But their value and priority must be determined in accordance with how they contribute to meeting the overall goal. They must not be reified as ends in themselves, as this leads to the end goal being obscured and never met. Now, this is folly that I'm going into, but I believe that this very same issue prevails in higher education today, in the debate about decolonization of our higher education curricula. It's really folly to comment in a sentence or two on such a complex topic, especially when you can't see behind you. But I see the same mistake being made again. Of course, decolonization is critical in itself and for the expansion of consciousness and inclusiveness that should flow from it. But decoloniality will not make higher education less complex or nuanced. So the way we teach, the way we learn, the structures within which we work, the how of the educational process is just as important as what we learn. One without the other will not meet the end goal, will not deal with the inequalities that we have in our circumstances, and in fact will freeze those inequalities. So if you want another message for your bathroom mirror, this would be a good one. Know your end goal. Last one. First two were about defining what you want to do. Sorry. This last one concerns the spirit in which I believe you need to work in order to make a difference. In my time, I've come across many people who are intent on bringing about change. And I've reached the conclusion that they fall into two groups. Those who are seeking real improvement and those who want change for the sake of change. Why would anybody want the latter? Well, it's because change in itself can be very impressive. And sometimes being impressive is seen as important for personal advancement. How many times do we hear of a new leader, whether it's a chief executive or a junior manager or even an institutional leader, stamping their authority on their new domain, and then, not long after, moving on to a higher position? Improvement of some kind may result, but that was not the point of the exercise. Making a positive difference usually needs to be strongly intentional. I leave you with this caveat and hope. Working for positive change almost always involves long periods of hard effort, determination, legwork, and engagement in very unglamorous tasks. But conditions in our country, with so much here being fluid and embryonic, make it possible for people in all walks of life to make a worthwhile difference. And I personally can bear witness that being involved in such efforts is truly exhilarating. I wish you well in your lives. Enkosi kakhulu.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Education, English Language Teaching on the following candidates. Nomfundo Vivian Bangisa. Zoleka Libala. Michael Lila. Nsikilelo Lubalbala Luti. Zwelaki Matwaza. Tokozile Confidence Mbo. Tantaswa Mishle. Nkiswa Mpopmani. Fundiswa Gloria Ngobi. Bongeka Hagana. Viwe Nokwe. Olela Ntenka with distinction. Zimbini Teresa Ndlebe. Vuyiswa Ndlo. Mbonileli Nshonga. Nakotula Nshonga. Mlamli Maxwell Hiko with distinction. Lungiswa Oscarine Songo. Nomalungelo Thomas. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Education, Information Communication Technology on the following candidate: Priscilla Babawa Dudumashi. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Education, Mathematics Education on the following candidates: Nozetu Avis Betela. Ofori Boachi. Tanya Botma with distinction. Josephine Lindelwa Kana. Frederick Chakonza. Enoch Dendere. Florence Ntombi Sabini Dlaba. Timbin Nkosi Victor Delali. Zukiswa Marion Dube. Lulama Gloria Deira. Nomini Shlangwana. Princess Ntombizotwa Pulani. Christina Ntefeleng Ketzel. Gilbert Koopman. Nokolunga Colleen Kuali. Mteteleli Kulati. Tozama Thelma Makwamba. Bazoleli Emmanuel Ndungwana. Nandipa Sophie Motsilili. Nomvuyo Joyce Mpulwana. Ayanda Pervians Mshumi. Richard Mupindu. Nomtanzazo Nkinka. non squacasi non ple. Non demiso Martin Haley. Malene Nyamunetse. Farai Nyamavuvu with distinction. Gertrude Jolene Perumani with distinction. Derek Haku. Tembisa Priscilla Singonzo. Sindiswa Tansi. Nomvuso Belinda Twinsi. Joseph Friss. Mzwandile Yalo. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Education, Foundation Phase Teaching on the following candidates. Sipokazi Adams Mde. Ntombi Sizwe Boy. Yasmin Abdullah Dahi. Lutanda Daimani. Nompilo Diani. Tozama Failani. Azipe Galada. Sinintlala Kashila Gubula. Lalanipa Hekwa. Kate Mary Hill. Shanique Claudia Hilpert. Sophie Kathleen Horde. Marilise Haley Horn. Nakatula Immaculate Class. Elisa Charmaine Liebenberg with distinction. Sinalo Marambana. Sia Samkela Macha. Akona Hematite Mazzolini. Zimkita Ndlatlamba. Luann Miners. Tapelo Godfrey Moriqueni. Pokushli Obenchli Mtembu. Anna Nelson. Lindelwa Notando Ngobo. Nobantwa Nokwai. Unati Ntolosi. Awetu Putamani. Hannah May Putzia with distinction. Pamela Kashana. Nomondi Patience Rongo. Akona Tandiwe Loretta Same. Under Singata. Babawa Siralili. Izile Anisimo Titi. Neo Emmanuel Shokudu. Sipamandla Viti. Natalie Kaylin Williams. Megan Mary Wilson.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Journalism on the following candidates. Karabo Baloy. Kieran Phil Blow. Demi Melissa Buzo. Sharisa Castles with distinction. Hannah Ropafadzo Chibayambuya. Karen Lizanne Cobain with distinction. Megan Shirley Colborne with distinction. Justin Sheldon Cronje. Tumelo Silindile Bongiwe Dumisa. Jordan Leah Elliott. Jomiro Emming with distinction. Simone Florence Ferreira. Shanae Michelle Folke. Ruksar Bibi Ismail. Courtney Alexandra Jefta. Lamise Mona Lisa Nontutuko Kumalo with distinction. Rachel Lazelle with distinction. Kelia Losa Reynoso. Zama Precious Lutuli with distinction. Sandasiwe Machadla with distinction. Dominique Ann Maingard. Shavon Natanya Mainka. Tuelapele Pachelelo Maputla. Sive Matinjwa. Nontokozo Pelile Nhunu. Palisa Primrose Mkize. Offense Moduka. Ochone Orabile Makobe. Zizipo Mpingwana. Dakalo Nemasetone. Kuchle Mplezana. Kiara Sian O'Donoghue with distinction. Chelsea Donna Ogilvie. Okay. Shraddha Patnala with distinction. Stephen John Pettit with distinction. Ashley Isabel Redman. Chanel Julienne Retief. David Barry Richardson. Catherine Marguerite Rowland with distinction. Shanae Skuman with distinction. Mananya Onteretse Senona. Non Chisekelo Setabile Shange. Leonard Julian de Geer Solms. Samuel John Spiller with distinction. Emily Stander. Christian Thomas Stroud. Jenna Maria Sutcliffe with distinction. Kuselwa Anda Tembani. Nonjabulo Tabete with distinction. Jack van der Merwe. Janae Lauren Van Eck. Nadine Amy Wilson. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Music on the following candidates. Elizabeth Kate Lemmer with distinction. Atenkosi Nalani. Akona Zizipo Nkinti. Gareth Damon Robertson with distinction.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the Postgraduate Certificate in Education Foundation Phase Teaching to the following candidates. Chantel Boyson. Claudia Lisa de Wet. Shanice Shantae Featherston. Desmond Dumisana Gambiza. Bronwyn Gush. Taryn Rose Jechels. Linda Cecilia Kibi. Zina Makaleni, with distinction. Kaya Kazi Mpechwana. Namisile Ruth Mbehli. Balawa Nkobela. Moketsi Mondweni. Umpili Kaleho Mosaka. Zanela Zela Mtsoro. Timna Nobebe. Lucanio Peter. Daniel Chandre Peterson. Bongani Tamsan Khaileka Shweni. Sibashli Zondlala. Annalisa Zomdaka. Felisa Portia Tuvula. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to award the Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Intermediate Phase Teaching, to the following candidates. Abungile James. Andrew Patrick Keaton. Nonzama Kacha. Carl Andrew Urson. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to award the Postgraduate Certificate in Education, Senior Phase and Further Education and Training Teaching to the following candidates. Leroy Marvin Brankis. Siwe Senzikile Buyana. Nompumelelo Nobushle Jonko. Pumeza Leonora Kutu. Lizoletu Digala. Tabani Dia. Sheldon Edward Dorff. Melanie Robin Fetting with distinction. Pumeza Precious Gakula. Samantha Holtum. Sanaliswe Jainkis. Sanokolo Kale. Zandile Klaas. Boishoko Daphne Kus. And Tombizoko Mangele. David Musiwa Mangwai. Ongezwa Maselwa. Nololo Nokwandisa Mfamela. Sibongile Moza Mlombo. Ngashi Mpikwa. Nokubungwa Fortune Ntombeni. Nkosikolo Charlie Mzimani. Halala Zitemba Ndlovu. Nondamiso Bongeka Ngwandwe. Sazila Pikolomzi Ntanta. Tasman Lee Povey. Lesedi Sethoho. Bushley Siwendu. Nwabisa Tasani. Lucanio Shongweni. Zondre Taryn Whiteley. Pelisa Yoyo.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the postgraduate diploma in journalism to the following candidates. Megan Kayleen Deploy. Keegan Francis with distinction. Chizi Katama with distinction. Ikona Mvapansi. Spumalele Ndlovu. Ntsepakazi Nsokoto. Leletu Tonisi. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the the postgraduate diploma in economic journalism to the following: Yanda Nsaluba. Petane Rapetswane. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the postgraduate diploma in media management to the following candidates: Lynette Nonhebo Biela. Ruth Chatukuta with distinction. Blessings to Fadzwa Chinganga with distinction. Khomolemo Sachametsi Dikhang. Inchle Nolwazi Carol Fakudze. Zamanduli Ntombakaisa Kwela with distinction. Trinity Madalo Kubalasa. Bracken Lee Rudolph. Litemba Mandisi Lento. Makabo Selena Letaketa. Lufuno Charity Manwadu. Andile Machoba. Luchle Machingizana. Mahlatsi Maloto. Matlohonolo Fatso Rose Moromoholo. Tinotenda Godfrey Mubvumbi with distinction. Zinzi Nkunzi. Zintle Nkudzi. Jason Eben Olafir. Selma Ndapandula Shiwaya. Nokubonga Tonsi. Naledi Marianne Tseladikai with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the postgraduate diploma in international studies to the following candidates. Boniswa Lorraine Matiwane. Rumbidzai Domisili Moya. Maxine Nokutaba Nkomo. Luzuko Peter. Nozi Busiso Shabalala.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to award the postgraduate diploma in higher education to the following candidates. Fidelis Abomiri Imutsi with distinction. Sehofatso Cynthia Moitsamang. Benedict Moitapelo Gladstone Molokwani. Larissa April Tybosh. Derida Mabore Tosaho. Duhitsiwe Walter Vele with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Education with Honours on the following candidates. Sabina Ashondile. Anna Ndahangala Hahepa. Tuso Michael Moss.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours on the following candidate: Jade Eden LaRue, with distinction in English.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Master of Education on the following candidates: Noluntu Vaya Bart in Mathematics Education with distinction. Renetta Louina Boothway. Renetta Louina Boothway in Environmental Education with distinction. Hendrik Christian Extian in Environmental Education. Michael Kosa in English Language Teaching. Sizwe Mdaka in Education with distinction. Makwina Paulina Mekwa in Environmental Education. Thomas Nakokua in Science Education with distinction. Joanna Ndanohenga Nakweka in Geography Education. Vera Astrid Skay in Education. Gomotso Emily Thomas in Environmental Education. Margaret Gascoigne Wolfe in Environmental Education.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Master of Music on the following candidate: Christopher John Thorpe, with distinction.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to request you to confer the degree of Doctor of Education, or Doctor of Philosophy, on the following candidates: Meredith Tamar Alexandra Armstrong. Preparation and support for schooling in the home have long been recognised as critical for long-term success in education. This study involved Meredith spending time in a marginalised community in Port Elizabeth on a daily basis in order to explore the way caregivers and children went about learning to learn. The study provides detailed insights on the way poverty impacts on language and literacy development and works to thwart the desires of caregivers who want nothing but the best for children. Congratulations. Caroline Margaret Bell. One of the major environmental problems facing humanity is ocean degradation. Caroline's study addresses the much neglected area of upskilling of marine science and management professionals in South Africa. The study provides in-depth understanding of the complex nature of upskilling practices of marine professionals, and shows that there is a need for giving attention to the intersection of learning, specialization, and sector community building in upskilling practices. Importantly, the study shows that marine environmental conditions themselves significantly shape upskilling processes. Percy Chinganga. This study probed the contested terrain of leadership formation in the Anglican Church of South Africa. Drawing on activity theory and critical realism, the study found that the various bodies involved in leadership formation in the Church could work towards a shared understanding of the leadership project through expansive learning. The study concludes by proposing a model to this effect. Congratulations. Beata Lidi Demenkeni Dongwe. This study showed that reasoning and visualization are thinking processes that are inextricably linked when solving mathematical problems. Using the theory of enactivism, this body showed how reasoning and visualization co-emerged as embodied processes that selected grade 11 learners employed when solving geometry word problems. The significance of this study lies in interrogating the much neglected learning process of using visualization as a strategic problem-solving strategy in mathematics. Mlamuli Nkosi Simpile Shetweo. Calls for decolonization echo loudest in university corridors. This study uses an investigation of the field of political studies to show that central to curriculum decolonization are issues of both what knowledge is legitimated and the extent to which students are expected to become particular kinds of knowers. Findings uncover ways in which the development of a critical gaze was required in this field, and the study demonstrates tools for ensuring that all curricula are inclusive, open, and socially just. Congratulations. Experientia Madaletso Jalazi. Over 2 million low-energy cook stoves have been distributed to communities in Malawi to address climate change challenges. Few have given attention to how this socio-technical innovation aligns with local cultures of cooking practice. Experientia, through a 3-year transformative learning process, engaged women, NGO distributors, and government officials in addressing this issue. The study is a world first, as it centers on concerns of the rural women who use these stoves. Importantly, it shows their agency for driving change. Lynette Sibongile Mazuku. Too many children in South Africa fail to progress beyond the first years of schooling. With this central problem, Sibongile investigated local cultures of children, with emphasis on their sophisticated knowledge of cattle. Seeing this as an important medium of cultural expression, she develops a strong argument for post-colonial approaches to teaching and learning in education. Her work provides a leading African study in respecting the knowledge of young children as a foundation for early learning and curriculum development. Tawanda Wallace Mataka. The ability to read with understanding and to use knowledge from reading in producing written texts is fundamental to educational attainment. Millions of school children from underprivileged socio-economic contexts struggle in this. A 3-year longitudinal interventionist action research study with a group of 32 learners from grade 10 to grade 12 was carried out. Findings reveal the power of a pedagogic practice that focuses squarely on teaching reading as part of everyday teaching practice. 13 of the 32 learners have since become university students, with 9 at Rhodes University. Mary Murphy. We are all faced with the complexity of dealing with mixed messages about environmental risk presented via the media. In this study, Mary considers the complexity and contradictions in multimedia messages and how they influence our agency for change. Reflecting on her own experiences in addressing conflicting signals embedded in many environmental media texts, she develops a transformative learning approach using the semiotics of storytelling for communicating complex environmental concerns in environmental education. The thesis itself offers such a story. Congratulations. Evelyn Loko Mutama. The National University funding formula greatly rewards research output, but fails to consider how the histories of our institutions continue to have effects. This study, as part of a larger project on institutional differentiation, analyzed data from all 7 historically black universities and identified how both university contexts and neoliberal forces in the so-called knowledge economy affect research production. The study also identified that financial incentives for research production can limit our conceptions of research and result in unintended consequences. Lindrianne Peter Myers. The 4-year accounting program is the gateway to becoming a chartered accountant. Worryingly, too few black candidates complete this program successfully. The findings of the social realist study into mechanisms that help or hinder student success offer practitioners and policymakers insight into the struggles of some accounting students, with the language, practices, and ways of being required for success, and that make it difficult, especially for black students from poor backgrounds, to take advantage of learning opportunities available to them. Congratulations. Elizabeth Njenja. This exploratory study investigated possible adaptations of Namibian high-stakes mathematics examinations to allow assessment of mathematical proficiency beyond predominantly factual recall and procedural skill. Adapted marking rubrics incorporating proficiency and relational complexity yielded insight into learner proficiency and current examination design. Remarked results correlated with original attainment, but showed proficiency variations within grade groupings. The lack of questions requiring the presentation of mathematical reasoning and organization was a feature of current examinations that constrained the full assessment of proficiency. Kenneth Jacobo Nzwala. Given the Namibian literacy challenges experienced by learners in all grades, this study used Vygotsky's theory to explore how children learn through teacher mediation of foundational literacies in grade R classrooms. The study revealed that teachers lacked an understanding of emergent literacies and could not effectively mediate learners' foundational literacies. This resulted in teachers implementing the grade R literacy curriculum in rather a teacher-centered manner that perpetuates low literacy levels. Gillian Janet Reid. This study examines the identity shifts experienced by a group of academics who left South Africa for jobs in Abu Dhabi because of changes to the higher education system here that impacted on their sense of themselves as academics. Unfortunately, the move left them confronting many of the same conditions they had fled from, with the result that participants ultimately experienced an even greater loss of academic identity than in their home country. Dr. Tichona Pisanai. African communities have been disconnected from land and from traditional agroecological practices, including seed saving and water harvesting. In this study, Tichana recovers African cultures of agriculture. Working generatively with agricultural colleges and farmers in South Africa and Zimbabwe, he recenters the smallholder farmer in agricultural education and learning systems. His expansive, boundary-crossing learning network approach to transformative learning in agricultural learning systems offers a new model for agricultural education and training in Africa, with significant theoretical and practical implications. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor's Distinguished Teaching Award is made annually to an individual with more than 10 years' experience of teaching at a university and who has demonstrated to a panel of peers that their work as an academic teacher is truly distinguished. Today, it's my honor to present to you Dr. Karen Ellery, coordinator of the Bachelor of Science Extended Program for the 2019 award. Karen Ellery originally trained as a vegetation ecologist at the University of the Witwatersrand. Following the completion of a master's degree in 1986, she worked first as a laboratory technician and then as an ecological consultant before taking a position as a senior tutor in the University of the Witwatersrand's College of Science in 1991. In its day, the College of Science at Wits led the way in providing a route to a science degree for young black students who, because of the quality of the education previously available to them, were ill-prepared for the rigors of an undergraduate degree in the sciences. Dr. Ellery's enjoyment of this kind of work meant that in 1999, after a few years spent at home caring for young children, she found herself another position in student development, this time at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. It was while she was at UKZN that she realized her true interest lay in this area of academic endeavor, with the result that she decided to complete a second master's degree, this time in higher education studies, with a focus on assessment. Dr. Ellery joined Rhodes University in 2008, first working in the Education Faculty's Environmental Education and Sustainability Unit, before taking up the position she still occupies as coordinator of the Bachelor of Science Extended Program in 2010. Given our honorary doctorate today, it is fitting that the Senior Distinguished Teaching Award should go to someone who's contributed so much to one of the programs made possible by Dr. Scott's work. As its name suggests, the BSc Extended Program extends the time taken to complete an undergraduate degree by 1 year, time which is used to provide additional tuition and support. Dr. Ellery's role has been in developing and running a course known as Introduction to Science Methods and Concepts, which provides some of this additional tuition. The difference between Dr. Ellery and many others doing foundation level work in science is her understanding that students not only need to master the basics of scientific knowledge, but they also need to learn to act and be scientists as they go about doing the laboratory work, close observation and measurement, and report writing that makes up scientific work. Her focus on students' being comes from an understanding of the limits of understanding learning as an individual cognitive activity in favor of one that sees it as socially and culturally embedded. Some students, by virtue of their previous experiences, typically, but not always, in the homes of educated middle-class caregivers, acquire the values and practices associated with the ways of being privileged within the university from a very young age. For others, making these values and practices overt is key to their gaining the insider knowledge which will allow them to succeed. Dr. Ellery's course is focused on doing this, as the values and practices associated with scientific work are so familiar and natural to disciplinary experts that it is not always obvious to them that they need to make them clear to their students. In a doctoral study that explored the challenges experienced by students in her course, Dr. Ellery writes of her conviction that the shifts required of them in order to be a scientist are not neutral. In order to become the objective scientist and the autonomous learner valued by the university, a student has to become a different person to who they were when they entered the academy. The extent and difficulty of the identity work required needs to be recognized, accommodated, and supported in our educational practices, without which students will continue to be excluded from the system. Dr. Ellery's doctoral thesis won acclaim from her examiners, who recognized that her research, which was based on her work in the extended program, challenged and contributed to the theory she had used, because her work provided evidence for the legitimation of a particular way of being in a supposedly neutral and objective area such as the sciences. Her work with her students in extended studies thus has the potential to inform other classrooms because of its impact in thinking in an up-and-coming theoretical area. However, it's evidence from students that best allows us to judge the efficacy of a particular set of beliefs held by an academic teacher. And I'll end my presentation to you, Mr. Chancellor, by quoting some of the many students who have testified to the way her work has made an enormous difference to their chances of success. One student, now completing a Master of Science degree in mathematical statistics, writes that working with Dr. Ellery led her to understand that learning is a discovery process rather than a chore in which one regurgitates facts and reproduces them in tests and exams. Another student writes of the personal support offered to her, noting that Dr. Ellery was wonderful. She was able to make me understand university life much better because she was always there every step of the way. She made me realize that it is when I am hardest hit that I must not quit. There was never a moment where I was discouraged by her. She always kept me going. This comment is indicative of the impact of Karen Ellery's work, as students admitted to extended programs often struggle with assessments in mainstream courses, and for young people who have been the top learners in their years at school, this can be particularly painful. Mr. Chancellor, I could continue to draw on the work of Dr. Ellery's students in order to attest to her outstanding work as a teacher, but time will not allow. May I therefore ask you to award the 2018 Senior Distinguished Teaching Award to Dr. Karen Ellery.
I also confer degrees and award diplomas on those candidates named in the program who are in absentia. Please rise for the national anthem. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I dissolve this congregation of Rhodes University.